So this video is to get everyone caught up with the structures of the heart, blood flow, oxygenated and deoxygenated blood and where they are in the heart. We started this diagram, but I am going to take it from the top and begin all over again so you get a review plus fill in the structures that you're missing. Before you start, you're going to need a pen and a red and blue, either colored pencil or crayon or whatever you have at home. So remember that the heart is actually two pumps. You have a right side that pumps to the lungs, and you have a left side that pumps to the body. The circuit that pumps to the lungs is called the pulmonary circuit, and the circuit and side of the heart that pump to the body is called the systemic circuit. So I'm going to start with the pulmonary side. If you guys remember, the body brings blood to the heart from the head and arms and legs and torso via the vena cavas. So number one is the superior vena cava. And number 6 is the inferior vena cava. Blood will be coming up to the heart from the legs and torso and coming down into the heart from the head and arms. And the blood from both of those locations is going to enter this chamber over here. And if you remember, this side of the heart is the right side, and this side of the heart over here is the left side. We'll come back to that later. And the top chambers of the heart are called the atria. So number 3, the top right chamber, is called the right atrium. So blood is going to enter this chamber and then move down past a valve that keeps the blood from going backward. And remember, you have to ride a tricycle before you can ride a bicycle. So number 4 is the tricuspid valve. It's called the tricuspid valve because it has 3 flaps. So the blood then enters this bottom right chamber, the right ventricle, and then it's going to begin to leave the heart. It first must pass through another valve, again a checkpoint to keep the blood from going backward. Now, both this valve and another valve are labeled number 9, but we're going to change this, and we're going to make just this bottom one number 9. And this top one we're going to make number 15, and we'll come back to that one later. So 9 is called the pulmonary valve. And then blood is going to leave the heart in either the left or right direction through number 8. Now, if the blood is leaving the heart, it's an artery. And since it's going to the lungs, it's called the pulmonary artery. Now, your next job is to shade in everything that I just talked about blue, because traditionally blood that is deoxygenated is shown as blue in diagrams. So what you might want to do, you can watch me color or you can just pause and fast forward. It's totally up to you. But I am going to go and shade all of these structures in blue. Also, just to remind you, deoxygenated blood in real life is not blue. It is actually deep red or like a burgundy or maroon color, but not blue. Feel free to do a better job than I am. I'm working with Crayola here, so So when blood comes back from the lungs, which if you want, you can actually show the lungs off to the left and the right. The blood is going to return to the heart. Now remember, if blood's returning to the heart, it's returning via a vein. So number 2 and number 10 are both pulmonary veins. And the one over here is the right pulmonary vein. The one over here, number 10, is the left pulmonary vein, but I'm just going to write pulmonary vein. So blood coming from these pulmonary veins, if it's the one on the right, it's actually going to go behind the heart. So I'm going to draw a dotted line until it enters into the left side and the upper chamber. And so that's going to be the left atrium, number 11. And number 10, the blood is pretty straightforward, just going to go right in. The blood is then going to take a downward turn through another valve. You have to ride a tricycle before you can ride a bicycle, so bicuspid valve. And then the blood is going to be in the lower left chamber, number 14. So that is the left ventricle. The blood is then going to take an upward turn and go out through the largest artery in the body, or sorry, the largest artery in the body, the aorta. So some of the blood will diverge and go up back to the head and the arms, and some of the blood will turn downward, and the aorta actually hooks down below the heart. So we can draw that in down below. That's called the descending aorta. And then up top, number 7, we can just write aorta. So the descending aorta brings blood to the legs and the torso, and at the top up here, these branches go to the head and the arms. So everything I just drew or labeled is going to be red, because red is traditionally the color shown in the heart for oxygenated blood. But in reality, it would be red, it just would be bright red and not burgundy. So go ahead and color in all of those structures red. Again, I'm working with Crayola. Sorry about this. And then our last structure, number 13, is the wall that divides the two halves of the heart. It's called the septum. If you want a prettier diagram and a pre-filled out diagram just to refer to, there is one posted on Canvas. It's called Human Heart Labeling Worksheet Key, I believe. So feel free to take a look at that when you have time. On the back of this sheet is a blank heart diagram that you are going to be labeling for your assignment today, taking a photo of it and uploading it to Canvas. I am just going to be checking that you attempted to label it. I'm not going to be correcting it, but I would suggest you try to label it without having to look at your notes, because eventually you are going to be responsible for the structures of the heart. I also am going to ask that besides labeling, you color this one as well. Blue, red, and show the blood flow through the heart. One tricky part of this diagram is that structure number 3 and structure number 9 are connected. It's not very obvious. So just keep that in mind when you're labeling this. Good luck.